Hello friends, myself Siddharth Chauhan. Welcome to Easy Medchem. So today's part of the video will be covering about the arterial blood supply of the female reproductive system. Arterial blood supply of female reproductive system. Okay, so today's part of the video will be covering about this topic: arterial blood supply of female reproductive system. The arteries supplying the ovaries and the uterus, which are the ovarian, uterine and the uterine branch of the urogenital tract, were found to form many anastomoses. An arterial network are thus formed whereby fluid entering one of the arteries will travel into all arteries of the internal genitalia. Okay. To describe the contribution of the individual artery in the internal genitalia, the nomenclature proposed by the Press and the Lang will be followed. The venous drainage, the ovaries and the uterus, which are the utereo-ovarian, uterine and the uterine branch of the urogenital, were also found to communicate freely, allowing fluid injected into one vein to travel into all other veins of internal genitalia. The nomenclature of the veins will be the same as the arteries they followed, with the exception that the veins following the ovarian artery will be called as a utero-ovarian vein. Okay. Now mainly the two arteries are there which will supply the female genitalia. These are the ovarian artery and the uterine artery. Mainly the two arteries are there. First one is the ovarian artery, which is a direct branch of the abdominal aorta, and second one is the uterine artery. Okay, the uterine artery is a branch of the internal iliac, and the ovarian artery is a direct branch of the abdominal aorta. Branch, B for branch of abdominal aorta. And uterine artery, it is a branch of internal iliac artery. Okay, this we have to remember. The ovarian artery, which is this artery, the ovarian artery were found to originate from the aorta, runs straight, caudally and ventrally for about 8 cm and divides into several colloidal branches. The colloid formed a plexus of about 4 cm in length, cranial and dorsal to the ovaries. Branches of this plexus were followed into the ovaries, which are the mesosalpinx, and the uterine tubes also are originated from the ovarian branches. Minute branches also anastomosis freely with 3 or 4 small branches from the uterine artery, but in no case was a direct branch to the uterine horns from the ovarian artery is isolated. Next one is the uterine artery. The uterine artery originated from the umbilical artery shortly after the later left an internal iliac artery. The uterine artery was found to divide into 2 or 3 main branches. These primarily branches divide into several branches that communicates with each other in the broad ligaments near the mesometrium border of the uterine horns. The vessels formed from these anastomosis ran the entire length of the uterine horns, giving off many small branches to the uterus. These branches bifurcate at the mesometrial border and send rami of the perforated the myometrium on either sides of the uterine horns. and arterial plexus were formed in the myometrium, from which the arterial supply the endometrium. The main trunk of the uterine arteries and its most lateral branches were observed to give off 3 or 4 branches that divided into many small anastomic branches to the ovarian artery plexus and the mesosalpinx. Some of these branches were traced through many anastomic with branches of the ovarian artery to the hilus of the ovary. So this is the brief description about the ovarian artery, which is a branch of the abdominal aorta, and the uterine artery, which is a branch of the internal iliac. Okay, now I'm going to draw a rough diagram of the female reproductive system to give a arterial blood supply here. Okay, this is the fundus of the uterus. These are the fallopian tubes. Fimbriae, ventriculum, fallopian tube. Same from this side also. This is the body of the uterus. This is the cervix. This is the vagina. Okay. From here, the internal iliac and the external iliac will arise. This is the internal iliac and this is the external iliac. Okay, I'm going to label this. This is the internal iliac. Internal iliac artery, and this is the external iliac artery. External iliac artery. Okay, from the internal iliac artery, the uterine artery will arise. It is a branch of the internal iliac artery and it runs at the level of utero-cervical junction, at this junction, and at this point it will cross the ureter okay, and at this junction, at the level of uterus and the cervical junction, this artery, which is the uterine artery, I'll label this. This is the uterine artery. Uterine artery will divide into 2 branches. The first branch will ascend up, okay, and at this level it will give 3 branches. First one is the tubal branch, second one is the fundic branch, and the third one is the ovarian branch. Okay, I'll draw ovaries here. Okay, these branches, the uterine artery will ascend up. The branch of the uterine artery will ascend up and give 3 terminal branches. The first one is the tubal branch, of uterine artery, This one is the ovarian branch of uterine artery, ovarian branch. Of uterine artery, and this is the fundic branch of uterine artery. Of uterine artery. Okay, these are the 3 terminal branches of the uterine artery. The second branch at this level, which descends downward, this will supply This is the descending branch of the uterine artery. The next artery which will supply the female reproductive system is the ovarian artery, which is the direct branch of the abdominal aorta. Okay, the ovarian artery, if this is the abdominal aorta, this is the abdominal aorta, the direct branch from the abdominal aorta will arise and will supply the ovaries. Okay, will supply the ovaries, and this is the ovarian artery. Ovarian artery, which is a direct branch of the abdominal aorta. Okay, this ovarian artery at the level of ovaries will divide into many branches. First branch is the tubal branch of the ovarian artery, which will supply the tubal sides or the fallopian tube, which will anastomosis with the tubal branch of the uterine artery here. These two arteries will anastomosis here and will supply the complete region of the fallopian tube. And this ovarian artery, which is a direct branch of the abdominal aorta, will also anastomosis with the ovarian branch of the uterine artery also, which is the branch of the uterine artery. And uterine artery is the branch of the internal iliac artery. So this is a superficial arterial blood supply of the female reproductive system. Now at the internal level, we will draw here. Let's cut this section of the female reproductive system and cut this artery, which is a branch of the uterine artery. So this is the uterine artery. This artery is the arcuate artery. It is making an arc here or arch here, that's why it is called the arcuate artery, which is a branch of the uterine artery. So these are the arcuate arteries. Okay, from the arcuate arteries, the radial artery will arise. So these are the radial artery which will go deep into the myometrium. So these are the radial arteries. These are the branch of the arcuate arteries, radial arteries. And from the radial arteries, the two artery or the two terminal branches of the radial artery will arise here. These are the basal artery and the spiral artery. Basal artery and the spiral artery. Spiral artery and the basal artery at the full level. The two terminal branch of the radial arteries are the basal artery and the spiral artery. So this one is the basal artery, the straight one is the basal artery, and this spiral one is the spiral artery, which is the branch of the radial artery. At the menstruation, these are the spiral arteries which is responsible for the endometrial changes in the uterus, not the basal artery. So that's all for today's part of the video. I hope you like the cover of mine. If so, do like, share and subscribe my channel. You can follow me on Instagram and please like my page on the Facebook as well. Links are provided in the description box. Please subscribe my channel because this is the only way to make my knowledge reach to you guys. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe Easy Medchem and press bell icon for more notification.